Hi guys, welcome back again. So recently I finished for the day 47 of the 100 days of DevOps series. Now I'm planning to do that day 24 of the 100 days of cloud Azure series. So let me check the title. The title is securing virtual machine SSH access. Alright, so you ready, right? So I'm also ready. So let's go. So always bear in mind that your own resolution to success is more important than any other one thing. Yeah, that's a beautiful quote. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to success is more important than any other one thing. So we will read the given instruction carefully from the top to down. Here you will see it. Okay. The nautilus dev authentication needs to set up a new virtual machine on the Azure cloud that can be accessed securely from the landing host from the Azure client. So follow the steps below to complete this task.
Task.
Yeah, so we have to create an SSH key on the Azure client host. Check if an SSH key already exists. So if it doesn't exist, we have to create a new SSH key pair on the Azure client host that will be used for the passwordless SSH access. So keep it in mind this, it is very important. It's a passwordless, so we don't need to use password when we're trying to access to the virtual machine with SSH method. So that will be free without using password. So let me check the SSH key list ls that. So we don't have any SSH key right here within this SSH folder. Now we have to create the SSH key pair. So let me create. So now so first of all, we need to create the create new SSH key pair. So we have the two types of key. You already know that. So one is for the private key that we need to keep in. So private key. Another one is public key. Sorry. Okay, so now we will create a SSH key pair. So how do we create that? So we can use SSH keygen -t. We use RSA algorithm type and we use base 2048 and we use -n for passwordless authentication. So we will run this command, right? So alright, so let me run this command. So I will run that to create the SSH key. So we will keep within this directory. I will try to enter. So now we get the SSH key pair. So you can check it again here. So this is a private key. This is a public key. So you can copy the public key anywhere. id-isa.pub. CATK. Oh, I need to give the correct find path. SSH id.ic.pub. So I will copy this public SSH key somewhere. Okay, I will copy here. We use it later on. Alright, so we create the SSH key on the Azure client host. We finish the first step. So this is the first step, and then we go to the second step, right? We go to step by step, right? So here the second step is we have to create a virtual machine. So use the Azure portal or Azure CLI. So if you really like to use a portal, or if you really cannot to use Azure CLI, it's your choice, that's okay. So to create a new virtual machine, name is nautilus-vm. We need to give the correct name when we're creating it. So in the West US region, keep in mind that should be like the East US-1 region. We need to give the specific region name, and set up the virtual machine size is standard underscore b1s. As this is also imperative, right? And configure the virtual machine with SSH access for the Azure user account using the newly created SSH key. So I will copy all of these things and I will find in Google. So how to create for, yeah, I will find like that. So to create a virtual machine, yeah, as usual, we have to know the resource group name. So let me get the resource group name, grp group align sd list. So this is the resource group names, right? So I will copy this. So we will run this command to creating the virtual machine that we like to create according to the specification requirement. So I will remove this resource group name variable, and I will replace with the correct resource group name from here. So you already know that. Alright, so I will do like this. So nautilus-vm. Alright, so virtual machine is nautilus-vm and West US, and image is Ubuntu 2204, and size standard b1s, and admin user name is azureuser, and SSH public key we will use from this specific correct directory. Alright, and how about how to add OS this type this size and SKU type. When creating new Azure VM from CLI. So I will copy these two lines where there's no mention about these two things, but to fulfill our challenge, we need to give these two requirements, I think so. So here you can add here. So I will give the correct space. So storage here, OS disk size is GB is not 128. We use the free available volume amount. Here is no premium, that is standard LRS. STANDRD standard. STANDRD, and then I will add a slash. Alright, so now everything is correct. We need to run right now, so I will wait, create it. Oh, SKU format is run. stndid. Let me see this cooklog official page. Can you check something's wrong about SKU? Yeah, backslash, the problem is here. Issue incoming can be small sentence error, trailing space after the backslash on the story queue. Alright, the problem is backslash, that's the problem. Alright, so I will run this command right now to create a virtual machine. And the third requirement says that, configure SSH access, ensure that SSH key from the Azure client host is added to the Azure account, and nautilus-vm, enabling the password SSH from the Azure client host. So we successfully created a virtual machine. So let me try to access to the virtual machine, and then we configure the SSH access. So SSH, so azureuser here. The username is we gave the here azureuser. I will copy this virtual machine azureuser account name, and we will use @ and then we will use this public IP address of the virtual machine to try to access there, and I will say yes. Yeah, so now we are on the Azure virtual machine. So let me check the ls. So we don't see anything yet. So how about ls-la and ssh. So we have to configure the SSH access to this virtual machine. Ensure the SSH key from the Azure client host is added. So we successfully added to the Azure user account, nautilus-vm, and enabling so let me configure something like this. VM etc sshd -find. So in this we have to configure for the I think this is the same as the previous lag. So we have to open this, we have to remove this command line, because we are now doing for the passwordless SSH access for authentication. So now we remove this value, and I will say yes. And one more thing is I need to remove this hash value, public key authentication. So I will remove this and save it, escape, a colon, w2. Oh, read only permission. So alright, so let me escape with the 2-. So I will run it again with the sudo. So let me configure it again. Come on. So here I will remove this, and here I will remove the prohibit password. Okay, so I will say yes and escape it and save it, call interview2. That's it. So we configure for the like for passwordless access. So verifying connectivity, test the connection from Azure client to Azure nautilus-vm using SSH to confirm that passwordless access has been set out correctly. But let me check the authorized key. Now let me check for this ssh-keygen authorized keys. Yeah, so we correctly copy their SSH public key from their AWS client. So that's fine. So we need to fix, we don't need to fix right here. 2-2a. So alright, so now let me try to access from the Azure clients. So I will do exit. Let me connect with the SSH root user, add to the kind of SIW like that. Please log in the rules. So this is fine, right? So okay, so we finished for this lab. We successfully configure SSH access, and but we didn't need to face and configure for the SSH public key in this authorized key and configuration file. So we just only face to verify the connectivity, like the changing the private within this, how do you say, within this directory. So actually this is the same as with the previous lab. Alright, so let me check it out and click confirm. Oh, I need to copy all of these things. Yeah, so that's it. We successfully completed the challenge. So if I can do it, you can also do it. So the key point is that, I would just only need to copy the public key to the here. After we get in a public key, we take it to the Azure virtual machine here like this. So this is Azure virtual machine, Azure VM. So within Azure VM, we copy the public key here within the authorized. So and after that, we configure for the passwordless authentication. So here's the passwordless authentication. and then we will say yes for this public key asset. So these things for this mini lab. So alright, so I think you understand what I mean here. So anyway, we successfully did it, right? So if I can do it, you can also do it too. So thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next coming video.